Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dropping Down from the Rafters podcast here on Toned In Entertainment. Joining me tonight is Blade Brown. How you doing, Blade?
Good, big dog. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Now we had no previous interaction ever, and then it's been almost 2 weeks now. It'll be 2 weeks this Thursday that I saw you at a EC3 seminar down here in Pompano, Florida, at the CCW training facility.
Yeah, man, that was a dope experience, and the whole thing honestly came together last minute. It's a very spontaneous thing, and me and my homeboy shot down there trying to make an impression. So clearly, we did something.
I was going to say, you guys drove down. You were with AC Divine, was that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I figured you guys were both from that North Carolina area. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, from Raleigh. Okay, great. My mom lives not too far out of Raleigh, so I'm pretty familiar. I've flown in there a couple times.
Yeah, that's the route I'm gonna take next time. Flying.
Oh, okay. Because you guys drove down here from North Carolina just for that seminar. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Hopped on the road right after work, did the seminar, hopped on the road, came straight back.
Why was it that important for you guys to drive down here to this EC3 seminar? Probably 14-hour drive, I guess, to come and, just be in front of EC3 for maybe 10 minutes total.
It's very simple, man. This business it's tough, it's frustrating, but a lot of people, they complain about not being in certain places. And I knew that I didn't want to be one of those people ever. I'm just like, if I have the opportunity to go and get myself and elevate myself to the top, I'm gonna take that shot. So if that means I gotta hop in the car and drive 11 hours, I'm gonna do that because it's worth it. And EC3, as his whole mantra or his motto is, I get people higher places, and that he does. So why not try to make myself one of those people? AC got the same mindset, so we said, screw it, nothing's holding us back. Let's roll.
I love that determination, man. It's so many people complain, oh, I never get a chance. I never get a break. I never get this and that. But they don't seize the opportunities like you guys definitely did.
Right, exactly. And my whole thing is this: how I've always been with sports, period. There was so many great people that came before you that's doing exactly what you're doing right now. They went through the struggle. They went through the hard work. They went through the seasons of self-doubt. They went through everything to get where they are. What makes you different? You have to go and take that same path they did if you want to be where they are. It's that simple. So it's just my turn. I'm in that little rough road right now, and I'm trying to get myself to the top, just like the greats before me. That's what it takes. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, speaking about being different and standing out and all that good stuff, I mean, I was there and you definitely made an impression on me. AC did as well too. He's somebody is on my list to reach out to as well to bring on the channel. But man, for those that don't know, what this seminar included was you guys cut a promo for EC3, and then you guys had a practice match as well too. And in your practice match, you wrestled somebody who I'm familiar with, Elliot Crow. He's a CCW guy down here in Miami. So tell me a little bit about your experience first with the practice match and the critiques and stuff that EC3 said to you about your practice match with Elliot Crow.
Yeah, so the practice match, the way he put it together, he had the least experienced guys, some of the most experienced guys. So I myself, it's been about a year and some change, approaching 2 years come April. Elliot Crow, on the other hand, was pushing about 3 years at the time, right? So he put us together, and our whole thing, putting the whole match together, was just, hey, let's keep it simple, but let's be effective and let's tell a decent story. We both had some pretty dope characters, so we felt like we could create some magic with it, and I feel like we did just that. We get into the match, everything is smooth. He was easy to work with. He said the same about me. We did a good job making each other look strong, and that's all we had. That was our biggest place: make each other look strong and tell an effective story. As far as the critiques go, man, I love getting around guys like EC3 who are all where you want to be because they really highlight the little things. The little things is really what takes your match to the next level. It's not the moves, it's not the freaking. Now, it's great if you can do these things, the 450s and the Canadian destroyers. Now, it's not that. It's the facial expressions. It's the reaching out to the crowd. and getting them behind you just by simply showing pain. You know what I mean? When you're firing it up, it's about really making them believe that you're coming back and that you're determined to win this. And it was just the little critiques and little details that he gave me that really like helped elevate your game. And then I remember I wrestled a match that following Saturday. Really tried to take what he said serious. That was one of the best matches and reactions that I've had thus far in my career. So, yeah, that's how that went.
So already, just that seminar alone, you think is already like paid off in full.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then with the critiques with the promo, I'm somebody that gets super amped up and energy and all that other type of stuff. But then this is something small. He said, hey, tone it down just a little bit. You don't gotta be, ultimate warrior the entire time. It's magic in being a little calmer and a little more relaxed. And just, we're having a conversation. You ain't screaming the whole time in a conversation. So that kind of helps connect with the audience as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it paid its dividends.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things is to stand out in a world of hundreds of thousands of professional wrestlers out there. And right away, you come out there and you start sniffing the ropes and you've got the Bart going on. And like, you got me hooked. You got me interested in what you're going on. And then you cut a really great promo. And I was there. And from my vantage point was, yeah, he really liked your promo. And I liked that, it just wasn't, okay, it was great. Okay, it was bad. It was like, okay, like you said, it was great. But just those little tweaks could just make it even better. And that's what it was my first seminar that I ever got to cover. So actually I learned a lot of stuff from watching you guys and watching him interact with you. And yeah, I think just taking those little things and applying them could really mean a whole world of difference for you.
Yeah, it does, man. It's always going to be the little things. It's just, that's what's going to take you to the next level. Everybody can do the moves. Everybody can do the moves. It doesn't take much to learn that. But like you said, it's how you connect to the audience, whether you're a babyface or a heel. How do you get them engaged? And that's where a lot of people run into trouble. And that's where I aim to try to, make myself, like you said, stand out. So, yeah, it was definitely worth it, man. EC3 was awesome. It was so great to learn from him.
Yeah, no, I was taking down names and writing down notes and stuff while I was there. And after the show, the next day, I started like looking up videos of like the different people that were there, and I put your name in, and the first thing that shows up is a dog collar match. It's the most pop, at least like when I put your name in wrestling match, the dog collar match shows up on YouTube. So give me a little bit of backstory about the dog collar match, and then what you thought going into it, and then once you were finished with that type of match, what your thoughts were after it.
Right. So, man, about that dog collar match. So that chain itself is special. Going into the wrestling world, somebody who kind of had a hand in my training was the Scrapyard Dog, Mid-Atlantic legend. He passed away in February. So the guy faced, right, his name was SoFly Manny Low. And right before Scrap's passing, me and SoFly began a story. And Scrap, he had a hand in training both of us. And the story began. He talks to us. He's like, man, I can't wait to see you guys go at it. I'm ready to see you guys, use all this training and it culminate into something great, whatever. He unfortunately never got to see that. He passed away. Me being, in his eye, well, in a lot of people's eyes, the next, dog coming up in the wrestling world, Scrap wanted to leave me that chain because that was his chain that he used throughout his career. He said, before I retire, I want to give you that chain. And he never got to do that. He never got to officially retire because he passed away, right? So me and SoFly have this little series. It goes into this dog collar match. And the biggest thing about it was we wanted to make sure, like this in the dog collar match, the story to tell is the chain. This chain matters. It hurts, obviously. It's a big daggone like cow chain. It hurts. And secondly, it had a lot of sentimental value because it came from somebody that just had a huge part in who I am, my career, and in SoFly's career. So it was just like, how are we going to make this chain be the center of attention, And then, going into it, that's what we wanted to do. We want to make sure that we used it in every segment, every sense of the word. Even after the fact, we used it. And then after the match, I don't know. I just kind of felt like it's like I wish Scrap was there to see it, but with that chain being so important in the rivalry, it's like he was there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it was just a fun match to do. I got another one coming up in March, so I look forward to that one as well. But yeah, man, that match was a lot of fun.
Wow, it's like a lot of us don't know who are just watching on YouTube. We're just seeing two guys beat the crap out of each other with a chain, but like the backstory and the sentimental value of the whole chain really brings a whole new light. And that's why, wow, it's like I wish we were following these stories like along the whole time, because I'm sure for those who are invested in your stories locally, like I'm sure that they knew a little bit about what was going on, and maybe it made the match maybe even a little extra special for them to watch as well too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Everybody around here loves Scrap. It hit really hard when he passed away.
Mm.
It hit really hard. So, to be kind of somebody who helps people remember Scrap, because I remember even after that match, I'm out there selling gimmicks. Somebody came up to me, he shook my hand, he was just like, "Man, watching you in there, it reminded me so much of Scrap." Random dude, never met him, just a random fan. He was like, "I remember I used to watch Scrap in AIWF all the time." He was like, "You just kind of made me think of him," and I was just like, "What?" Didn't expect that at all. But yeah.
Aren't those like the best compliments, when not only does it mean something to you, but it comes from just out of nowhere, out of the blue?
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, it's so often like, we do this thing for some people, we do it for adoration sometimes. And when you don't get it, because you're like, when you're expecting it and don't get it, it's like, man, that hurts. But when it's like, you're not even thinking about the adoration, anything, and it comes, it's like, whoa, like, yo, I made an impact. And that's what we're all in this for. We want to give fans memories. That's what it's all about. We were given those memories growing up watching it. Now we want to give other people those same memories through something that we love. So yeah, it feels amazing to hear stuff like that.
Speaking of making an impact, Cherry Bomb says, "I love the passion and determination that you show in the ring."
Oh man, appreciate
See,
it, dog.
you're making an impact. You're making an impact. Now let's talk about that. You said March. So is there a specific date for March that next dog collar match is coming up?
Yeah, it would be March 16th
Okay.
in the Nashville National Guard Armory over here in Nash County, North Carolina. Just inside of Rocky Mount. Yep. So it'd be me taking on Mr. Everything, Victor Andrews.
Oh, Victor Andrews. Yes, I've had him on the channel as well too. Is he still bringing his son to the matches?
Not as of late, but
Okay.
it's still a part of it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've only got to see him wrestle once. He was down here in Central Florida. Really, just awesome guy, great athlete. That's gonna be a fire match. I like that one.
I can't wait for it. That man's mind like is insane. The creativity he has is out of this world. And he's one of those people that it's like, if he can't get a job at the top wrestling, he at least deserves it creatively. It's not even funny the things that he comes up with. He never misses. Like, he just doesn't miss.
Yeah. Well, do you guys have anything going on in North Carolina the first weekend of March? Because we are coming up to Winston-Salem for Sting's retirement match. So we're looking for a good local show in that North Carolina, that Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Charlotte area. Do you have anything cool going on that particular weekend?
I personally do not that first weekend. I'm on the second weekend in ACW. Um,
Okay.
yeah, but somebody's got to be running. I'm just not wrestling that first weekend. I haven't hit on anything.
Okay.
But
The ACW, is that the All Caribbean Wrestling, or is that a different?
yeah, alternate combat wrestling.
Okay. So there's so many like different, like,
Yeah,
acronyms.
yeah. The acronyms are all the same, but completely different products.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't think it was all. I've covered them down here in Florida, and I know they travel here and there. So I was thinking, oh, maybe they're up in North Carolina. No, it's complete all combat wrestling that you got going on up there.
Yes, sir. It's pretty dope promotion. If you ever get a chance to check that out, they got some good things going. It's in Moore County. I know where the Hardy Boys grew up. So they're able to produce some pretty dope things. It's a lot of local talent, a lot of young talent that are just looking for that leg up. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a fun show. It's always enjoyable.
Oh man, I love me some good independent wrestling. It sounds like North Carolina's got it going on up there, much like Florida has it going on down here.
Yes, sir, man. North Carolina's got a lot of opportunity. Just got to go out there and chase it.
Now let's go a little bit back before your professional wrestling days, and you've been an athlete for quite some time now.
Right. Yes, sir. So I grew up playing football. That was my number one. I love football. I played that through college. I finished my career at the Concord University, Go Mountain Lions. I played linebacker up there. I also did a little bit of amateur wrestling in high school. I threw a little shot put as well. And then in college, the most random thing I ever did, I picked up throwing the javelin. My homeboy, from the same city I am, Raleigh, North Carolina, we didn't meet each other till we went to Concord, but we grew up in the same city, just on opposite sides. It's crazy. He was really great javelin thrower, and he hopped on the track team. I was throwing shot put, he was throwing the javelin. I was like, man, that look kind of dope. So he kind of showed me it. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you. I wasn't the greatest javelin thrower or anything, but I had a whole lot of fun doing it. And them dudes, you ain't got to be big. You're not supposed to be big and strong doing that. You got to be long, limber, loose. And yeah, that boy used to sling that thing. But yeah, the javelin was dope. My main was football. Love playing football.
It's so crazy because I'm trying to picture like the javelin, right? It's obviously like the long, like the spear, right? And then the shot put is the big, like heavy ball.
Yes, sir.
And so it's like you're throwing two different things, but in order to do it, you need to be completely different body types then.
Yeah, like, you can be, now don't get me wrong.
You should be, I guess, maybe, right?
There's some big old dudes that I've seen, like some powerlifting looking type dudes that I've seen sling that daggone javelin. But that's a lot due to, just experience doing it from the time they were young. You can be real hefty throwing that shot put and get it out there. But that javelin, you really just want to be. The main thing is just being loose. But anything in track above strength and speed is technique. Technique. That's what you need to have above anything else. Similar to wrestling. I think that's why I translated to wrestling really well, because wrestling, you really got to pay attention. Like I said, the little details. Even in doing the moves, it's the little details. So it's like, yeah, you really got to pay attention to the technique where you're doing things.
Now, how hard was it to make the transition from amateur wrestling? Because I know it's something completely different into professional wrestling.
So, in amateur wrestling, you're with this mindset, like, I'm not ended up on my back. I gotta go. I got 6 minutes on this mat, and I need to either score more points or get a pin. Feel me? I gotta go. My biggest problem transitioning, slowing down. So when you're in the ring, you're wrestling, like I said, it's all about connecting to the crowd. And well, you can't connect to the crowd if you're going 1,000 miles per hour. Nobody even knows what you're doing. You know what I mean? You got to stop. You got to seize moments. You got to register. And then, you got to have great footwork to be in a wrestling ring, all right? You can't be out there daggone road runner. You can't be out there doing that. You know what I mean? Because it's going to mess up your positioning. You're going to be out of place, and you're just going to look sloppy. You don't want to look sloppy when you've got paying fans out here. Because when you have paying fans, they can say whatever they want to say because they paid to see you, so they want to see a good product. So for me, it was really just slowing down, seasoning the moments, and realizing that, I don't have to go 1,000 miles per hour to get my point across. You know what I mean? There's a time for that, but it's not all the time.
Okay. So this is actually like a little bit of preview for an interview I'm posting later this week, because I just spoke with Bobby Fish a couple days ago and interviewed him here on the channel, and that's going to be dropping soon here. And he mentioned the footwork was like such a key thing. And I hear so many people also talk about slowing it down, because I'm thinking like myself, right? If I jump in the ring, what's the first thing I want to do? I just want to throw the guy into the corner, give him a stinger splash, and give him a stinger scorpion death drop, and then hit him with a splash. But that's obviously why I'm behind the scenes and not in your guys' place. But slowing it down and taking your time and telling a good story. Has there been any situations that you've ever been in where, and you don't have to mention any names, where things just weren't clicking in the ring because somebody wasn't taking these key steps that you've been talking about?
Yeah, so my third match ever, right? My first two matches were both multi-man matches. I had my first one I debuted was a fatal four-way, and then the second match that I've ever done was a tag team match. So the third match, I finally get my singles match, and I was so excited. Kind of like how you said, man, I had all these moves that I wanted to do. So I'm gonna bust it all out. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna wow the crowd. And blah, 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 blah. Man, this is gonna be great. That match sucked, and I placed no blame. Like, I blame myself so much for that match. I mean, I think granted, it was my third match. It was a great learning experience. Without it, I wouldn't be where I am right now. But like, it just no reaction. The crowd tried to get up for me, but it's like I wasn't giving them anything because I was so focused on the moves, wasn't connecting with them. Then I start to lose my confidence because I'm not getting a reaction, because my footwork ain't right. I'm not connecting with them and all that. And then the match they just got lost. They got bored. During the match, I would be surprised if 75% of the audience were looking at their phone like, all right, what time is it? What's next? You know what I mean? It was one of those, but it was something that I needed. And I feel like every professional wrestler has gone through that. I mean, I just thank God that it was in front of maybe 20 people and, not in front of 20,000 people. That'd be a little bit harder to come back from. But yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how hard is it to, or not how hard is it, but like when you're performing in front of a crowd and the crowd maybe isn't into it. Like, I think about it as just anybody, right? We're content creators and we want people to view our stuff, and when people view it and they get excited and they leave comments, obviously we get excited and motivated. So if you're wrestling a match and the crowd isn't into it, is that something you feel the difference? And when the crowd is really into it and pumped up, can you feel their energy? Do you guys really feed off of that really hardcore crowd energy?
Yeah, we do. It just makes everything so much better because it's like, man, they like me. They want me to win. Or they hate me and they don't want me to win. And it's just like, it kind of validates you a little bit, and it just makes you go that much harder when you're in the ring. And you know what? Let me tell you something. When you get the crowd hooked, from that point forward, you do not have to do much. You don't have to do much else. You got them. All right? It's so much easier to keep them. Once you get them, it's so much easier after that. And if they're going to hang on to every little thing you do, because now they're just waiting to see what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next? Yeah, we definitely do feed off of that. And on the flip side of that, when they're not feeling you, yeah, you can hear it. But even in that way, like, that's good practice because, now you got to figure out, okay, I got to keep going no matter what. I got to get this story across. I got to still show who I am, what the character that I'm trying to portray. I don't really like to put it like that, but for the sake of the interview, that's how I'm going to say it. Character that I'm trying to portray. And, I just got to keep going, because at the end of the day, man, some of the greats have had some bad matches and have gotten no reaction. But the sun comes up the next morning, you got to get back up and go back to work. You feel me? You got to face these people again. So, yeah, it's positives on both sides.
No, most definitely. Now, there always seems to be two fences to this particular question. When I ask people what their family and friends thought about when you said, you know what, I'm going to begin this professional wrestling journey. Now, obviously, there's one extreme and there's usually another extreme. What was the feedback or the thoughts you got from the people that are closest to you?
Nobody was surprised. I was the one that, even when my friends grew out of it, I kept watching. I kept talking about it. I kept doing wrestling moves on people, not at 10 years old, but at 20 years old. I kept doing these things. And when I finally said I'm going to go into it and try this thing for real, everybody was just like, yo, finally. And I can't wait to see where you go. And I'm just out here trying to make them all proud, you know?
Okay, so growing up, going to school, how many like wrestling buddies did you have? Because I had one, right? Until I got to high school. Then I had three because the NWO and DX were cool then. So I upped it to like three. But in like when I was in middle school, I had that one friend that my dad would take us to the matches. How was your like, I guess, social life with wrestling growing up as a kid?
So when I was younger, elementary school age, it was great. Everybody watched it by then. Then you go to middle school and everybody tries to act like they're cooler than what they really are. And it's not about childish stuff anymore. It's about girls and this, that, and the third. And I may have had like one. Then I go to high school and I amass more. Out of no, it was the weirdest thing. I'm thinking I go to high school, it was literally just gonna be me. No, I went to high school and more people were watching it than I thought. I don't really know the exact number, but you know, and some of those dudes we still to this day go to matches, go to shows when WWE comes to town. So it's like, and then I mean in my adulthood, there were people that I found out that watched wrestling all this time that I was completely surprised. I was like, you watch wrestling? You know, you worry about women and partying and clubbing. Some folks, you know, in gangs or whatever. Oh, but they still tuning in every Monday and Friday night, watching, got Peacock watching all the premium live events, staking up with NXT, AEW when it popped out. I'm like, I was surprised. But yeah. So yeah, it was only middle school was the only time where I felt like it was just me. But any other point of my life, it was a decent amount of folks.
Wow, surprise, surprise, right? You just never know who is
Never know. And
right.
social media helped with that because when I would share stuff on my social media page about wrestling and they would comment on it and they would comment something logical, like something current and up to date, you know, I would like when I share stuff, they wouldn't be talking about stuff that happened daggone 15 years ago. They'd be talking about, hey man, last Monday night, Seth Rollins turned on the shit. I'm like, oh, you watch. Wow, some people I just never expected. Yeah, so it was dope.
Yeah, it's like you could tell right away who keeps up with the product and who doesn't. For example, like a story I'll give when AEW first launched, and I knew somebody in the media that was going to try to, they were coming down to Florida down here and for like press conferences and stuff. They're like, oh, I'm going to try to get media credentials to go. And they said that Chris Jericho's available and I'm going to ask him to put me on the list. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that. Like that was 10 years ago. Like, I'm like, I'm going to try to save you the embarrassment. You can't go into an AEW press conference and ask Chris Jericho to put you on the list. It's just,
right,
it's just,
you asking for a rough night, dog.
yes. And a quick interview.
Right, right, man. Yeah, it's pretty bad when some people who don't keep up with it and they try to talk to you about it. Just like, man, that's been over. That you don't even work there no more. Well,
Right.
But yeah,
That's how it's always been. You can always tell the people who just don't keep up with it and who don't. So Blade Brown, like, what is your ambition? What is your goal? What is the bigger picture for you?
man, my goal, I want to be in the WWE. Period. There's nothing against any other promotion out there. Granted, a blessing is a blessing. Wherever I go is where I go. All of these companies out here are great. NWA, phenomenal. Impact or TNA,
Yeah.
phenomenal. AEW, phenomenal. But that's just always been my dream and my goal. Or but I say even beyond that, I want to create memories for people, whatever that may be. I got a lot of memories from people growing up who only wrestled in TNA. that never made it to the E or anything. Like I had a lot of memories from those people. If I can create memories for people, that's huge for me too. You know, something that you can always remember when you're 50 years old. What did I do for you when you were 5? You know, so those are kind of just the two biggest things on my mind. I want to make it to WWE for sure, but I also just want to give a lot of people a lot of great memories.
Speaking of memories, what's if somebody asks you for that one memory that really just pops out to you as your wrestling moment, the one that always sticks with you? What is it?
Probably when Mysterio won the world title. Now I've always been like the big dudes. Yeah, those are always my guys. You know what I'm saying? But Mysterio winning that world title ended up like it was just phenomenal. I just thought, you know, I loved watching SmackDown growing up, partly because that was the only time I could stay up and watch it. It was on Friday, you know what I'm saying? But when he won that world title, it was just like, yo, like he just defied all the odds. You know, he beat Randy Orton and Kurt Angle, the wrestling machine, Kurt Angle, and I love Kurt Angle. He's one of the greatest of all time to me. When he hoisted up that title, we celebrated with him. Dog, it was great, especially after Eddie died. Yeah.
Yeah, such a great moment. If there is an ever like dreams come true moment, that's definitely one of them. Especially watching him, you know, in the WCW days before, you know, he went to WWE, and you know he was really phenomenal, cruiserweight champion, had some just amazing matches. But you know, he had the mask off, the filthy animals. You knew there was no more growth going on there, and for him to come and make it to the top of the mountain, essentially. I mean, if there ever is, you know, that dreams come true moment, it's Rey Mysterio winning the world title from
Right.
those two guys.
Right. Stuff like that, you know, it ain't supposed to happen. I love stories like that. Stories that ain't supposed to happen that come true.
Now we're here in the end of January. Obviously, you know, there's big stuff going up throughout the year. WrestleMania's not too far from you guys in North Carolina, up in Philadelphia. Any plans to go up in for Mania weekend right now?
Not in motion right now, but it's like you said, it's not too far. Especially after taking that drive to Florida, man. I have no problem getting tickets and going up there to experience Mania. I've never experienced it before. I'm also an Eagles fan, so the fact that it's in Philadelphia, I mean, it only icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? So, I think I might make that happen this year. Ain't
Yeah,
got nothing.
even I was gonna say, even if you're not wrestling or whatever, I think it's a good, just I don't know, maybe experience or something like that to just take it all in, like WrestleCon, all the indie shows going on up there. It seems like there's just like an abundance of professional wrestling.
Right.
It's our Comic-Con weekend or something like that up there.
Agreed. Yeah, man. So, yeah, like I said, it's all about experiences. You know, I'm young. Go get after it. Go live it.
Absolutely. Well, Blade Brown, is there anything else that we should touch on that maybe I haven't asked you?
Um, nah, not really. Y'all follow me on Instagram, AD_Blade Brown. AD stands for Alpha Dog, if y'all didn't know. Because I feel like I'm at the top of because I'm at the top of the food chain. I don't feel like.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, sir.
It's like, don't feel it, be it.
Hey, no.
Well, awesome, Blade. Well, I'm glad that I came to that seminar. It was something I wasn't even expecting. I didn't know what to expect when I walked in there, and I got a lot out of it. And I've met some awesome people. We just interviewed Gina Marie also last night, who was in the matches with Blake Banks, and also got feedback from EC3. So, guys, if you haven't seen that interview, that one is up now. And definitely, I have a list of people that I'm ready to reach out just from that seminar alone, because I thought, man, not only did you guys learn a lot, but we learned a lot too. And hey, we met some awesome new people like Blade Brown, and got some new content here on Tone and Entertainment to bring you guys.
Yes, sir, man. I really appreciate this opportunity, man. I just love to be able to tell my story. I appreciate you so much for reaching out to me, man. It was a dope experience. It was. I
I
got to make
really,
Florida now.
definitely. I mean, yeah, you got to come down. We hopefully you can get booked on some CCW shows down here, because man, that I tell people all the time, it's my favorite wrestling show. Period. When I say period, I mean better than anything that's on TV. The one in Miami, Florida is I'm hooked. I'm enthralled in the storylines, the wrestling action, and I would love to see Blade Brown come down the alpha dog and kick some ass down here in Miami, Florida.
Absolutely. Make it happen.
Let's make it happen. We're going to post this out. We're going to clip it. We're going to tag CCW in this one too. We're going to get the Blade Brown down here.
Yes, sir. Make it happen. I'll be there.
Awesome. Well, Blade Brown, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. All right, guys. If you like interviews like this, we've got a interview with Teddy Long dropping tomorrow or Thursday. I haven't decided when I'm dropping it. But yes, Teddy Long, the WWE general manager. We interviewed him at River City Wrestling Con kickoff party this past week. Super fun interview. And we've got an interview with Bobby Fish coming also this week. And next week, Tyler Peters is joining me once again. And if you guys remember a little wrestling promotion called Wrestling Society X, well, yes, we're going back to the past, and we're going to be breaking it down and reviewing it next Tuesday here on Toned In Entertainment. So, guys, make sure you're following Blade Brown because this guy's going to do big things. Just a few minutes that I got to watch him perform the other night in practice mode alone, I was super impressed. So, definitely big things for Blade Brown coming in the future. And also plenty of stuff coming here on Toned In Entertainment. So, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that red subscribe button so you can stay tuned in here to Toned In Entertainment for future videos. Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.